Hey folks, this is Kalani. Welcome back to the Nighthold raid guide for normal and heroic. This time we'll be looking at SPELLBLADE ALURIEL. There are 3 phases of this fight corresponding to different mage-like abilities: Frost, Fire and Arcane. Aluriel will be replicating, detonating and animating the abilities within each school of magic. There's one constant ability for the tanks to deal with throughout all phases: Annihilate. This is a frontal cone which deals 3 million damage split between the 2 tanks. The primary tank will get a debuff which makes him take 75% additional damage from physical attacks for 1.5 minutes, so you want to swap the tanks every 2 stacks. Bear in mind, no one else wants to be in front of Aluriel. The main ability you'll have to deal with in the first phase is called Mark of Frost. It's randomly applied to 2 players and will stack up a debuff called Frostbitten for every tick you take. To avoid dying from this debuff, you'll need to collide with whoever else has Mark of Frost around 4 to 6 stacks. As you collide, an explosion will damage the raid. This becomes increasingly difficult because Aluriel replicates Mark of Frost, and depending on the size of your raid, you could have up to 6 players with the mark at the same time. Every player will need to clear their stacks by colliding with another Mark of Frost, but because of the raid-wide AoE, you will want to stagger these collisions. One pair clear at 4 stacks, the next at 5 stacks, and the last at 6 stacks. Aluriel will also detonate the marks, which will leave behind a frost AoE on the floor. When Aluriel casts Animate, an ad will spawn from each of those frost puddles. These ads will need to be picked up by the tanks ASAP due to an ability they cast called Frozen Tempest. It will appear as a large ring around the ad and will stun anyone who tries to leave or enter the circle after the ability was cast. It also pushes anyone who is inside to the outside, so you need to run against it to not get stunned. Anyone who gets stunned will need to be broken out of their ice block. The easiest way to deal with these ads is to stack them up and AoE them down. Phase 2 is similar to Phase 1, but this time we're dealing with Searing Brand. Random people will be targeted with a fiery debuff, which they will need to take out of the raid. Replicate will once again spread the Searing Brand to more players depending on your raid size. The boss will then charge those afflicted with the brand, and if anyone is caught in between, they'll be knocked back and get a stackable debuff. When Aluriel detonates the debuff, it will explode and leave a flame patch on the floor. If anyone dies at any point with the Searing Brand, you will automatically detonate. Aluriel will also cast Animate on these flame patches, creating fiery enhancements which chain cast Pyroblast. You can deal with these ads in 2 different ways: place the flame patches together so when the ads spawn they're all stacked up, chain stun and nuke them as quickly as possible, or detonate the pools 8 yards apart and deal with them individually. Their damage dealt is increased by 200% and speed is increased by 100% on their casts for every ad within 8 yards, so be careful. The last phase is a bit simpler than the previous 2. Arcane orbs will fall onto random players, pulsing within 8 yards. After these have replicated, you'll want to stack as a group, because the orbs will follow the marked players and eventually teleport to them and leave an AoE silence fog on the floor. Move as a group out of the fog and get ready for Animate. When she casts it, arcane enhancements will spawn from the fog and start casting Armageddon. You'll need to nuke these ads as quickly as possible because that cast name isn't just for show. If you don't manage to kill them in time, you're sure to wipe. If you make it through the Arcane phase, you're right back at the start with the Frost phase and Mark of Frost. The fight will repeat itself until either you or the boss go down. But that should be all you need to take down SPELLBLADE ALURIEL on normal and heroic. If you have any questions or queries, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Feel free to check out any of my other Nighthold raid guides when they become available. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.